Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this week's weekly vlog. I've got a very squinty Amara this morning because the sun today is actually glorious, and I try my best in the mornings not to wear my sunglasses because it gives me like my vitamin D basically for the day, and it's also really good for your circadian rhythm. So I'm fully having a sunbathing moment here, but starting the vlog in the place I feel like I do most of the time, because this is just me on a Monday morning. I really do myself dirty popping on here, puffy face, no makeup, still half asleep, but it's the true start to my week. So good morning, welcome to this week's vlog. Started my Monday as I tend to. I've found myself a little spot in nature. I've had my journal, I've pulled a card, I had my morning matcha. I've definitely spent a lot of time with my feet in the earth because I do feel like grounding is just so unbelievably important, especially as we are on what I guess we're calling episode 2 of the Healing Diaries. Grounding is just one of the most important things, and it is such a like magical and impactful thing as well. If you don't know what I mean by earthing in particular, of like putting your feet literally in the earth, there are a lot of studies that show like the ions can transfer, and it really helps to change the frequency in which your body is vibrating out. Lots of studies on it. I know I've mentioned it on here before because I'm like the biggest fan of it. Definitely very impactful on a healing journey as well, I feel, because it really just brings you back to a really grounded and calm frequency. So yes, that has been my morning this morning. What have we got planned for the week? To be honest, it's kind of going to be a bit of a half week vlog because we are out of London over the weekend, so I kind of want that to be a vlog in itself. So I've got Taylor Swift on Thursday, which we'll see how it goes. I might bring you along. That might just be the end of the vlog. And yeah, I'm very excited for that. But otherwise, for the rest of the week, it is actually a very slow and chilled week. I want to do a little bit of baking. I of course have a little bit of work to do. But yeah, to be honest, there's not really a whole lot. I was actually meant to have a little spa morning with a friend, but she's rescheduled. So I think actually I might do that myself and just have a little solo spa morning at the gym this week. So yeah, that is kind of the plan for the week. I think we should just dive in and get started, and I will check back in with you later. Guys, it is a fair bit later and it is so unbelievably warm today. I have just been chugging along with a little bit of work. I actually got our upload for Thursday already, along with some other little bits and bobs. Again, if you can hear noise, you'll always know I'm in London due to the noise in the background. But what I wanted to actually come on and chat to you guys about is I had just remembered that I actually, you can sort of see a little bit of it here, I actually have this sage which has been hanging in my kitchen since before we went on holiday to help it dry, and I thought actually this week I could begin to construct my sage bundles. But when I was thinking about that, I was like, you know what, I've got a fair bit here, so what I might do is make one sage bundle and then do one sage blend. And whenever I do my like sage smudge sticks, I like to combine them with different things. So when I was at the shop this morning, I actually got myself some roses. So my plan is to take the petals off, put them in this bowl and allow them to dry out overnight at least, so then maybe tomorrow we can put together some smudge sticks. It was really interesting, like little, I stumbled upon it with someone. Literally, I was on one of my walks and someone had a free sage outside their house, which very much feels like a sign from the universe sometimes. So that is what I'm doing now. So I literally have roses here. I'm just not going to use all of them, but I will use a few of them and just take the petals off and put it in my bowl. I've also got some lavender coming. I really wish we had a garden because I'd grow it, but lavender doesn't like to be inside really. It doesn't really thrive inside, and even if it did, our cats would find a way to pull it out. No doubt about that. So yes, I've got some lavender, some dried lavender coming, and then I've also got eucalyptus, which I think I'm going to put in. So when we lived in Dubai, I actually had a favorite like sage blend that I used to buy, and it was sage, eucalyptus and damask rose. Now this is not a damask rose, this is just a Tesco's rose, but I thought that I would try and like recreate that because it honestly smelled incredible. So that is kind of what I'm trying to recreate here. This does smell nice though, it does smell of roses, so that is exciting. That means that we're at least going to get sort of the smell that I'm wanting. Now I actually do have quite a bit in here already. My plan is also to sort of see that there. My plan is also to wrap it around the sage as well. So like the smudge stick, I will wrap the rose around, and then when you burn it, you will smell it a little bit. I think I'm going to do one more of these and then the rest can just go on decoration. Can't decide whether or not to do a big one or a little one. I think I'm gonna do a little one. Hello guys, it is now Tuesday. I realized I left you guys yesterday whilst putting these in here to start drying them, and then I didn't check back in with you, but it's now Tuesday. I actually had a therapy session earlier this morning, and whenever I have a therapy session I tend to kind of leave the rest of the day relatively clear if possible. So I had like one or two worky things I needed to do, but otherwise it's clear. I don't have anything I need to show up for, nothing live, nothing in person. So the rest of today is quite clear, and I just thought, I mentioned yesterday that I've got all of this sage here that I want to make, I think maybe one smudge stick with, but then also a bit of a sage blend, and I've got all the supplies for it. So I actually ordered myself some lavender. I wish I didn't have to order it. I wish we had a garden and I could grow my own lavender and pick my dried lavender from there, but unfortunately we're not at that stage yet. So I ordered, I ordered some dried lavender, which honestly smells incredible. It smells so good, it smells insane. And then I also have just grabbed myself just one of our eucalyptus branches because I don't think, I'm not sure what Mango's talking about. Mango! Just one of our eucalyptus branches because I don't think that, hello, hi, can I help you, sweet pea? I don't think that this will work that well in a smudge stick because I think they will begin to sort of fall away, but we've got Mango really desperately wanting to get involved here. But yes, I don't think that it's going to work in a smudge stick because they all fall out, but it will work really well in the little blend that I'm going to do. I'm not really sure what she's wanting at the moment, but yes, so I'm going to do the blend that I said, and then also a smudge stick. I think I'll include the lavender in the smudge stick as well. But as I mentioned, this blend is a really beautiful one, and I like to really use it. I tend to keep it in like a fireproof dish or like a shell, and then I will burn it kind of when I'm wanting to do a more passive cleanse, just to very like leave it on, trust it's going to cleanse the space. But I thought if I made this today, then maybe tomorrow at some point I could do a really good cleanse of the apartment, which could be really great. If I don't have time to do it, we'll put it in next week's vlog, but fingers crossed we do. Mango saying hello. She just wanted a mummy cuddle, bless her. So yeah, let's begin to construct these. I think I've taken you through all of my ingredients, and then if I have time afterwards, I think I might do some baking because we are going to, over the weekend, we are going to Jake's parents' house, and I love to bake. I find baking really therapeutic, absolutely love it. Really lost touch with it, didn't do it for a while, but now I'm back to it. So I thought I could bake some brownies and take them back. So I have a really good brownie recipe, which I like to bake when I know I have people to eat them, so that Jake and I don't just eat an entire batch of brownies between the two of us. So yes, that is very much the plan. And then I will take myself on a nice long evening walk. So let's get crafting. It is a crafty afternoon, isn't it, Mango? I just realised it might be quite helpful if I explain how I'm going to do this in case anyone else wants to make, has fresh sage that they're going to dry out and make smudge sticks. So this has been drying in my kitchen upside down for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm going to remove all of the little leaves from the lower half of the stem, so about halfway up, so my smudge stick's about that length, and I will keep the lower leaves to put in to my little blend so that nothing's really going to waste. Then I will cut them and begin to wrap them up. So yeah, that's currently what I'm doing, and then I will probably add in the lavender and wrap some rose petals around, which you will see whenever I'm making smudge sticks. As much as possible, I like to try and choose things that are quite local to the country or the area that I'm in, or at least like locally accessible. So as I said, this was locally grown, all organic, literally outside someone's very, very lovely garden. Take for free, we have too much sage, so I jumped on that. This I did order, but lavender is a very, very indigenous like plant to the UK, so that feels really, really beautiful to use. Roses are English roses. Eucalyptus, to be fair, I'm not sure where this one is from, but we're just using one of them. But that is quite important usually. Like, you do want to make sure that you're not using, there are just so many beautiful smoke cleansing agents that you can use without sort of depleting the resources elsewhere. So we're very fortunate to have so many different smudge options within the UK. So that is what I'm currently using. There's also definitely like different properties to what you put into your smudge sticks. I'll have to look up the properties for lavender and rose. I think I have a feeling what they are, but I'll look them up for you and let you know. I've chosen this purely because it's an intuitive feeling that it's going to be lovely and it's what I need. So yeah. Okay, so I've got the bottom tied, and then from here it's just wrapping. Really simple and easy. I do feel like I'm gonna run out of string. I've come to the conclusion that I definitely do not have enough string to do this one, but I think I need to go to the shop anyway later to grab some things for dinner, so that is what I will pick up. But my plan is, if I don't pop on and show you when I finish this off, I'm still gonna make the blend with you now, is to then lay the roses around and continue to wrap them in so that you also smell them when they burn, which is why I sort of got like half wilted petals at the moment. They're the best ones to use because they're not fully shriveled yet. So my half done smudge stick will be finished later on, but let's get on with making this little bundle of, I guess what I would just call like a sage blend that you can put really anywhere and just kind of leave burning, almost like an incense in that way. So let's get on with making this. This is just gently going to be put, that is just gently being put to the side. Now I've got my little bowl with the sage that I've just picked up. I've also just got like little bits of sage falling off here, and when I finish making that, any other little bits of sage that fall off I will pop into this bowl as well. I'm just going to remove some of the rose petals to save and use for this one. Hello guys, it is a fair bit later. Forgive the noise you found in the background. It is rather warm today. I have just put the brownies in the oven. I will link the recipe below. They are by no means healthy brownies. I feel like healthy baking is really fun when you're in the mood for it, but when you want just really enjoyable, therapeutic baking, if you're someone who enjoys to bake, there is nothing better than just baking a really unhealthy treat. So I have got those in the oven at the moment. I tend to follow that recipe that I will link below. It's on a website called Loves and Lemons, and pretty much follow that recipe. I add a little bit more cocoa powder than they say because I find them a little bit sweet otherwise, and I add white chocolate chips as well as dark chocolate chips. So yeah, they're going to be really lovely, and then once they're done I will take them out and they can cool, and then they're all ready to go to Jake's parents this weekend. My plan actually is I have jumped on my mat whilst they're in the oven, and I think I'm just going to have a really chilled, gentle practice. One thing I really love about summer and practices within the summer is that it's already so warm, so we're not really needing to build heat on our mats. It's more about like cooling practices and whatnot. So I feel like I'm in the need for a cooling practice. She says with a warm cup of tea, but a cooling practice is definitely the vibe for the afternoon. And then once the brownies are out, my plan is to go on a nice long walk, and I'll probably go via the shops on the way home, see if I can find some cooking string for my sage bundle, and I have a few other things I just need to grab. So that is the vibe for the rest of the evening. So I'm gonna get on, do a quick yoga. Good evening guys, I am just sat here journaling away, sort of halfway through my walk. I've actually been sat here a lot longer than I had planned to, but it is just the loveliest evening. It's not too warm, it is just like the perfect temperature. It's so chilled out here. And it's funny, I was actually just thinking, like, I actually feel like generally I've had a really soul nourishing day, kind of unintentionally. Just like doing all of my favorite things and doing all of the things I know just make me feel at peace. Ending with this really lovely long walk, which has just been lovely, and I've been journaling. I'm now looking at the deer, which it's really funny, there's like a house there and they're definitely playing the trumpet, but just looking at the deer, which we know is one of my favorite things. But it just got me thinking, like, you know what, actually this is something I've been thinking about an awful lot. I don't think I mentioned it in the last vlog, of sometimes less is more. Like, sometimes we are trying to do all the things, and whether it be you're maybe not feeling the way you want to feel, or you're feeling anxious and you're trying to do all the things to kind of combat it and fight it, or maybe it's in your work or in your business or whatever it might be, like you're trying to do all the things, when actually something I'm really coming around to is that actually less is more. Less is so much more, because when you create space, there is space for inspiration, there is space for healing, there is space for literally what the soul needs. When you create space, the soul can do the work, and your intuition can begin to lead the way versus the mind leading the way. And I know we spoke about this a little bit last week about like getting out of the head and into the body, and I just feel like I've had a day with that theme. And it has been really, really, really lovely. So my plan is to just finish off my journaling. The deer are getting really close again, so I will show you. But just finishing off my journaling, and then I will head back. I've actually come on a really, really long walk. I've been trying to make sure that I just get the amount of steps I want to be getting in each day. So longer walks, which is just actually kind of my favorite thing. So yeah. One thing I did actually forget to mention was I, on this walk, have started listening to the audiobook of the book I recommended in last week's vlog. So If Women Rose Rooted, I think is the name. It's incredible. I am like hooked from chapter 1. I'm literally just about to turn it back on once I finish chatting to you, but very, very good. I'm actually really enjoying the audiobook as well, and if you pay for Spotify Premium, it is free on there, so could not recommend enough. Honestly, the sun, just having a real moment here. Good evening, guys. It is a fair bit later than when I checked in with you. I don't actually think I checked in with you today. It was quite a busy day, to be honest. I started the day, I desperately needed to get a nail repaired and she could only fit me in this morning. So started the day with that, and then I actually had a little bit of work to do, which you will have seen. So I actually headed to the gym and used the workspace there to get a little bit of work done. I was just planning this evening's soul session, which I've just finished, and also just getting back to a few yoga business consultancy clients and just supporting them in what ways they were needing, getting back to a few emails. Then I decided I was going to have a bit of like a self-care spa morning because I planned to do it with a friend. She'd rescheduled, but I was like, you know what? I have it in my mind I'm doing this, and I actually think it's hair wash day anyway, so it's a great day to do it. So I did a quick 20-minute run because it was just the only thing I could fit in today, which I always forget how much I love running. I do love to run. I think I forgot to take a clip, but it was just a treadmill run, so relatively boring. I do prefer to run outside, but I do actually really enjoy running once a week, no more than once a week, but it's quite cathartic. I do really enjoy it. And then I decided to do a 30-minute sauna, which I love. One thing that I'm really focusing on at the moment in this chapter is regulating through my nervous system, because whenever you're feeling just like not quite yourself, maybe a little bit anxious, maybe a little bit all over the place, usually it's a sign that something's going on nervous system wise. So that's something I've been really focusing on, and saunas are fantastic for your nervous system. They're really fantastic for like really tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system. I also find that going on runs it's 50-50. I'd say that daily runs, no, because they're literally flight. However, the odd run here and there, I usually do like one run a week, is really fantastic for just like getting out of the head and into the body, and then really making sure you take the time to relax afterwards and like really slow everything down. They can be a really fantastic tool, and that got me thinking a little bit about if anyone, I don't know if you guys know much about it, but Ayurveda and the Ayurvedic doshas. And this is something, I actually have a training in Ayurveda. I don't use it particularly very much, but Ayurveda is the kind of like the science that's like a sister science to yoga. So it's very much around nutrition and the way in which the body works. And it's interesting because it has been an ongoing thing for me trying to figure out what my dosha is. We had like an Ayurvedic specialist in my yoga teacher training. We did a quiz there. I then really felt that wasn't really resonating with me. And I think firstly, the issue very much is I am definitely a little bit tri-doshic. I have a lot of qualities from all three doshas. The doshas are like, I guess different energies within the body, and you tend to be more dominant in one. But the issue is when things are in balance, you may like present as a different dosha when things aren't quite balanced enough, which I think definitely happened to me when I first did like a dosha quiz with an Ayurvedic expert, and he sort of had us all do them in like a big group, so it was just like ticking multiple choice, and I came out as a Pitta dosha, which at the time I thought was right, but in hindsight it definitely wasn't right. And it's really funny because I've then met people afterwards and they have immediately gone, you're not a Pitta dosha, like absolutely not. And I've had people literally say they think I could be Kapha, they could think I could be Vata. Everyone thinks I'm something different. But I actually really feel as if I'm getting to the point where I know what dosha I am. I've begun to create my sort of wellness practices and just notice intuitively what makes me feel really nourished, and that has led me to believe I am in fact a Vata dosha. Whilst I may not present as a Vata dosha at times, it does actually make complete sense just in terms of body composition, just like hair type and things like that, and just like physical attributes. Not fully, I have a lot of facially very Kapha facial features, which is what can be so confusing, but in terms of the what my body responds to, it makes a lot of sense. So I might chat about this more on Soul Shala, but doshas, the Vata dosha in particular is ruled by air and space, and it is very, very airy in the sense of sometimes can feel anxiety, can be quite prone to anxiety, can be a little bit poor sleep, things like that, just things that naturally I've always been quite attuned to. But actually what nourishes them is actually what has helped me figure out that this is most definitely my dosha, because I intuitively know what makes me feel good and what makes me feel nourished, and it is warm, comforting foods, fresh, warm, organic, comforting foods. It is always warmth. I'm always seeking warmth, like a 30-minute sauna. That leaves my body feeling fantastic. What intuitively does not make me feel good is like cold. So like the idea of an ice bath, I don't think I've chatted about ice baths on here. I have very unpopular opinions about ice baths when it comes to regulation around the nervous system, but that's always something that I've just known, even in practice, like it's not supportive for me nervous system wise. The ways in which I choose to move my body are not are very, very Vata aligned in terms of long walks, Pilates, yoga, the occasional run. This is very Vata, whereas Pitta would be far more explosive and hit, and that never left me feeling my best. So it's very interesting because I feel like I've come around to this conclusion that I am most definitely a Vata, and it's just like things are clicking and adding together. So I think I'm going to maybe begin to implement some more Vata specific practices into just like my wellness practices. So I'll keep you updated on that. And I might, who knows, I might actually end up chatting about, I should, maybe on Soul Shala we'll do like an Ayurvedic series, because I do love tying the practices of Ayurveda into my work. I just find, and this is me being completely honest, that occasionally in the more traditional practices of Ayurveda, I actually find that there's a little bit of diet culture pulled through Ayurveda, which I don't love, which is why in the past I have really actually pulled back from Ayurveda and not done much with it, because there were just some things that were being recommended nutritionally that make no sense, that are very diet culture focused, like juice cleanses and things like that. I understand where it's coming from, but it is wholly unnecessary, and I actually don't think it aligns with the core philosophy of Ayurveda. That's very controversial. I'm sure there are lots of Ayurvedic practitioners who would completely disagree, but I just know that there are a lot of things for me personally that just wouldn't be supported due to the close connection there is with diet culture there. You can tell that Mango is right outside the door because she hasn't been involved and she's very upset about it. But I might chat a little bit more about Ayurveda, and let me know if that would be helpful, whether it be on here, whether it be for members on Soul Shala. I'm thinking about it. But yes, that is just one of my realizations of the day. So I had a really, really lovely morning. I've then come back, had a little bit more work to do, and got myself ready for this evening's soul session. So for this evening's soul session, we were chatting all things the witch wound and the mother line, and it was a really, really lovely session, and a really, I think, eye-opening session for a lot of members, and it's probably my favorite thing to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, I love chatting all things feminine energy, and I also love chatting more so feminine healing is a big thing for me. So really, really enjoyed that session, and I hope that, I'm sure that members found it really, really helpful. But on that topic, I know I mentioned this on my walk yesterday, but I also was reading this in the sauna today. Bless, it's definitely already looking worse for wear from being in the sauna with me, but the Kindle can't come in the sauna because it gets too hot. So this is fantastic. This is very, I wouldn't even say European, maybe European centric, but like, I'm not gonna lie, it's very UK centric. However, it's incredible. It talks a lot about Celtic history, which is why I say it's quite UK centric, because I know that I mean, a lot of people within the Americas will also potentially have connection to Celtic history, so maybe not. But I know that I'm loving it because I can really connect to a lot of the Celtic history in this, as I am half English, so I can really feel, I'm probably more than half English if we're honest, but we're gonna leave it as whatever. I really feel that connection there, and it is honestly such a fantastic book. Like, I am hooked. Slightly easier read than The Women Who Run with Wolves, and a little bit more magical than The Women That Run with Wolves. So I'm really loving this one. Also love that one. This is just less of a psychological standpoint and far more of a spiritual standpoint, but they are saying very similar things. So yeah, this is a fantastic book. Really enjoying that. With that being said, but I think that is actually where I'm probably gonna leave this week's vlog, because it's Wednesday evening. We've got the Eras tour tomorrow, so I might put a little montage of any clips that I get. We are in for quite a long day because I think we're gonna spend some time, quite a lot of time queuing, so we can get nice and close. So yeah, I think I will put a little montage in of the day tomorrow, but I really hope you enjoyed this slightly shorter vlog. I really hope you enjoyed seeing sort of my midweek self-care reset moments, and really how I'm slowing everything down in order to try and really allow myself to just create space for healing. So yes, without nattering for too much longer, I really hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. Wait, there's one thing I want to show you. I had a really exciting delivery arrive. Completely forgot to show this to you earlier because it's just been a really busy day and I haven't had a moment to sit down and catch up with you, but I did order myself a very odd present, but a little present I've been wanting, is this really lovely French market bag with long handles. Now it is massive, I won't lie. It's a little bit bigger than I was expecting, but it can fit yoga mats in it. It can fit like an entire beach picnic in it. It can fit like deliveries. Like, this is a very practical bag in my mind. Perfect for like the farmer's market. I'm very excited about this. I actually bought it from like online, but from like a very cute independent boutique. So I will link that below if anyone is looking for a French market bag with long handles. I would suggest going for the small rather than the large, because it is very large and the small is not that much smaller. So in hindsight, I would go for the small, but I'm loving this and I will definitely be using it for our weekend away after the Eras tour, which is going to be another vlog. So yes, as I was saying, I really hope you enjoyed this week's vlog, this second episode of the Healing Diaries. And yeah, I just hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day, and I will connect with you again next week very soon. I'm sending you so much love, so much light, so much healing, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye guys.